The first drops of rain fell just as Nora reached the small bridge at the edge of town. She stopped walking, tightening her scarf as the drizzle turned heavier, and the grey sky sagged like her heart. She hadn't planned to walk this far. She just needed air, the kind of air that carried silence, not the echo of raised voices or the sting of words that couldn't be taken back. Her phone buzzed again. She looked down. Ethan. She didn't pick up. Love was supposed to make you feel understood, but lately it felt like speaking two different languages with the same person, both of them convinced they were right. Back at their apartment, Ethan sat at the small dining table. Dinner was still warm, but untouched. He wasn't angry anymore, not really, just tired. Tired of explaining why he stayed late at work. Tired of her silence. Tired of the way they both turned love into a battlefield of assumptions. He stared at the empty chair across from him. That space, once filled with laughter, inside jokes, coffee cups, and late-night dreams, was now filled with distance. He remembered the early days. 5 years ago, everything was easy. Nora's laughter could fill a room. She laughed at herself, at the world, and sometimes at him. She used to bring him coffee with little hearts drawn on the lid. Now, she left notes. Dinner's in the fridge. Don't forget to lock up. It's strange how love doesn't die in one day. It fades, quietly. By the river, Nora found a small shelter under an old tree. The air smelled like wet earth and regret. She thought about last night, how she accused Ethan of changing, of becoming distant. He had said she was the one building walls. Maybe they were both right. Maybe that's the cruel thing about growing together. Sometimes you grow in opposite directions. She opened her phone, one unread message. Let's talk when you're ready. I'm not giving up on us. Her heart tightened. Why did love hurt most when the person still cared? Ethan finally grabbed his jacket and left. He didn't know where she'd gone, but he had a feeling. The bridge. It was always the bridge, their place, where they first kissed under the wind, where they promised forever without realizing how fragile forever could be. He found her there, sitting under the tree, quiet, her face calm but tired. For a moment, he just watched. She looked smaller somehow, not weak, but fragile, like a truth that could break if spoken too soon. He took a step closer. She didn't look up. Did you bring an umbrella? She asked softly. He smiled faintly. You always forget yours. And just like that, for the first time in weeks, they shared a moment that didn't hurt. I didn't mean to walk out, Nora said quietly. I didn't mean to make you feel like you had to, Ethan replied. Apologies don't erase the pain, but they soften the edges. She looked at him, eyes tired but honest. We keep fighting about the same things, Ethan. Work, time, you forgetting, me overthinking. He nodded slowly. Yeah, maybe it's not the fights. Maybe it's the way we stop listening. A tear rolled down her cheek. Do you ever feel like we're losing what we used to be? He hesitated, then said, Sometimes. But then I remember, what we used to be was just the beginning. Maybe this part, the hard part, is what love actually looks like. The rain had stopped completely now. The sun pushed through the clouds, spreading light across the water. She let out a shaky laugh. You sound like one of those therapy podcasts. He chuckled. I've been listening to them. Effect, trying to figure out how not to mess this up. For the first time in a long time, she smiled. Truly smiled. They walked together across the bridge. No promises, no perfect words, just two people, still choosing each other. Maybe that's all love really is. Not the perfect beginning, not the happily ever after, but the decision to stay in between. Later that night, they sat together on the couch, wrapped in one blanket, saying little. The world outside was still wet, but warm light filled the room. Nora leaned her head on Ethan's shoulder. I don't know if we can fix everything, she whispered. He kissed her hair. Then let's just start with something small. She closed her eyes, listening to his heartbeat. Steady, imperfect, real. And as the last drops of rain disappeared from the window, it felt for the first time in a long while like they might just make it. Love isn't about avoiding storms. It's about finding the courage to stand in the rain, together, until it stops falling.
Hey my people! How wanna see the story we wanna just watch? If it's sweet wanna, I bet click that like button and subscribe.
This one are proudly sponsored by the CEO of Dreamland for Bamenda for Inside Cameroon, where enjoyment no the ever end.